Hey, what's up everybody? On today's video, I'll be showing you an incredible feature in Adobe After Effects. I'm talking about the text animator. You can use the text animator to create all kinds of incredible animations in a very simple way without using a ton of layers or expressions. So stay tuned and let's see a few things you can do with this powerful tool. So I'm sure you've had to animate text before in After Effects, and I'm sure you've probably tried coming in here to the animation presets from the effects and preset menu. And normally these would work really well. I mean, you can come into the text and then you can come into animate in and animate out. And then we can definitely try these. For example, the fade up words, right? And if we press U on the keyboard, we can have we can see our keyframes here. And these are pretty good, you know, they're basic animations and they work for certain things, but you know, the power of the text animator is so much more. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So in our first example, I'm going to show you how to create a word by word fade in and have that fade out, just like what you're seeing on screen right now. So the way to do this is you can create new text many ways. You can come in here and select the text tool. You can right click here and create new text, which is what I'm going to do right now. And that feature automatically centers the text on the screen, which is a nice and handy feature. But I'm just going to copy this text for now so I don't have to retype that out. Let's hide that layer and then double click on this and paste it. So now I'm just gonna center it in my comp so we can see that. And we're gonna twirl down using this arrow and find the text properties. And then to start animating this without any presets, we have to come in here to the animate function. You can animate any of these properties for the text. So for that animation I just showed you, we're going to start with position, and then you'll see it added an animator 1 for position. And since we're doing also opacity, we're gonna come in here and add property and then opacity. Okay, so once you have those two set, the current position is position 1 essentially, where we want that text to end, right? You can move this, let's say there or wherever you want that text to end. But what the animator does here is you can tell it, okay, I want this to come from below, let's say 180 pixels down, and then we want that to be faded out when it starts. So then you want to come into the range selector and you want to open that up. And then this is where you want to play with the offset. So if you see, if we start scrolling from 0 to 100, we start getting an animation, right? So what you want to do is come to a point in time in the future where you want this to be at 100% and type in 100, and then click on the stopwatch to make a keyframe, right? And then we want to go back to 0 and then click here and also type 0. And if we preview this, and let me just shorten the timeline. If we preview this, we have, you know, an animation. It's not very good right now, it's not polished, but we're getting there. So to make this look like what we had before, we want to come into the advanced tab, and you'll start seeing some more options here that let you customize this animation to what you're looking for. So first off, we're gonna change based on from character to words, and already you'll start seeing it's coming closer, right, to what I showed you. So this animation works in different ways. We can change the shape. Right now it's a square, which I'll explain in a bit how that works, but we can change how that animates. So for example, ramp down is not the right way we want to animate. You'll see why. It is animating the wrong way. And if we choose ramp up, that is the best way to animate this because it's smoothing it out. But you'll notice now it's starting already at a start point in the future. So what ramp up does is it's tweaking the animation going in one direction at a different speed. So now we have to come into the offset, and at the start point we have to go the opposite way to negative 100. So now it's going from negative 100 all the way to positive 100. And if we preview this, you'll see it's a lot better, right? It's too slow right now, but it's what we want, right? So now to tweak that animation, we can do several things. So the first thing is we can play around with the ease in high, and we can bring that up to about 80, let's say 80%, and you'll start seeing, you know, there's a slight shift on how that animates. We have a slow start and then like a fast end. So you can see how the ease high is affecting the animation right now. But I want to take that one step further. We want to select these keyframes and right click and then go to keyframe assistant and select easy ease. And what that does is it'll tweak, as you can see, the animation points on the graph editor right here. You can see it's tweaking the animation speed. So if we preview that again, you'll notice it goes a little bit faster, and we can even make that go faster if we wanted to. Let's say we can bring this in, and we can bring this one in further as well. So it'll go slow, super fast, and then slow again. So let's see how that looks. It's too fast, but you start to see how that works, right? So the way to tweak these is 3 ways. You can tweak the graph editor, you can tweak the ease high, or you can tweak how fast by just moving the keyframe. So for example, if I bring it to 1 second and preview that again, it goes a lot faster. Okay, so that's option 1 to animate this text. I'm going to show you another example. So with this example, we have our text blurring and scaling in, right? So I'm going to create a new text layer, and I'm going to, just to show you, I'm going to copy this text right here, and I'm going to hide this and paste that there and center it. And then now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to create 2 animators where we're going to modify the scale, and then under that animator I'm also going to add the blur and the opacity, right? So we want this to fade in, blurred, and then scale up. You'll notice we have all the anchor points are at the bottom of each letter, and if I scale these down right now, they scale to the bottom, which I don't want. I would like the words to scale from the center forward. So I'm going to bring that back up to 100. And then you want to come in here to more options. You want to open that. And this grouping alignment, this is where you want to tweak that anchor point. And if you can see that, let me zoom in. If you can see that the red anchor points are moving as I move this up. And what we want to do is kind of eyeball that to the middle of the words. And 43 seems about right. So now what we're going to do is change this to words, right? So now there's 1 anchor point per word. So now with that said, now we can start, scaling, and let's go back here to fit. So now we can start scaling, and you'll notice the words individually scale to their center, which is exactly what we want. So this is the other way I was going to show you how to animate this. So I'm going to create 2 different animators to control this. So animator 1 is going to be our on position. So this is our final state. And then I'm going to duplicate this, and it's going to be our off position, or the starting point when it's faded out and blurred and stuff like that. So this is our final, and this is our start. So the scale we're gonna do last, and the opacity, but first I just want to blur this so that it becomes blurred to where you can't tell what the words are. And then I'm gonna scale this to 0 and the opacity to 0. So now what we want is to transition between this state and that state. So we can come in here to the off position and start playing around with our range selector offset, right? And first we're gonna open the advanced and make sure this is also set to words, right, under based on. So now, as you can see, if I start tweaking the offset and start animating this, we start getting that blur in, right? So I'm gonna animate that position at 0, and then at 1 second, I'm gonna do 100%, and let's preview that. So it's a little fast. So again, we want to do easy ease, and that you can do with F9, and also we can choose ramp up. We have to bring the offset back down to -100, so that's a lot better. So you can start seeing the power of the Animator tool, right? How much you can tweak. And again, you can play around with the timing on this to make them a little bit smoother. You can select the keyframes and go to the graph editor and start tweaking the curves to make them, you know, faster at one point or slower. So this is incredible, right? Because you can completely make your own presets and customize them. So I'm going to show you one other example where I have one word and we're creating this effect where it like slides in and it's like opening from one spot. So I'm going to recreate this text. So new text layer, paste, then I'm going to center this. And what we want to do here is we want to add an animator for position. We want to then come to the add and add a property for tracking and opacity. Okay, so once those are set, we can, again, we can, for example, I'm going to try coming down instead of sideways. On the other one, I did sideways. And then we are going to, instead of opening the letters, we're going to crunch them so that it looks like they're coming from one spot, right? And then the opacity is going to be 0. And then we're going to come into the range selector again. And here is a little bit different. We can try with the start. You see how that's going to animate? So again, the power of this tool is just unbelievable, right? So let's try that. So 0 to 100 on the start. And again, and then easy ease with F9. And let's check that out. Okay, so right now it's still a little rough. Let's polish that a little. And then let's play around with the easy ease. You see, so it's looking a little bit better. And we can tweak the timing. And let's say you're working on this and you decide, you know, I don't know if I like it from the bottom. You can come in here and just change the position back to 0. That also looks good. We can like move it to the right, as I had on the original example, and it's showing how it appears. So one last trick I want to show you is when you have your animation set, you can turn on the motion blur and make sure you click here with the little balls moving, and make sure this is on as well, which enables the motion blur. So that, if you notice, that gives that blur effect that makes this more smooth and allows the animation to look nicer. So the last thing I want to show you with the text animator is once you have your animation set, and this is another example that I created, you can create your own presets to reuse this in any other project. So the way you do this is you want to come in to the text prompt here, and then you want to select your animators. So remember, we had the on and off states, and then you want to come in here, and then on the animation menu, you want to click Save Animation Preset, and that'll take you to your menu where the user presets are saved, and you can name this whatever you want. Slide in, text. And then I'm gonna name it myself. So once you save that, you'll see under the animation presets, once you open that, and then you'll see a new menu pop up here called User Presets, and you'll see this text animation there. So just make sure you only select these two when you're creating your preset, and not the whole text or the source text. Otherwise, it'll enter this into your text prompt. So with that, you can just, you can hide this, for example, and let me show you really quickly. Let's create a new text, and I'm just gonna type in test, and again, we can center this, and then I can just bring my playhead to the start and double click, and it should do the same animation, and it is, you see. And if I open the keyframes here with U, it should have the exact same animation keyframes as the one below. So let me just move this so we can see it side by side, and then turn on the previous one, and let's preview them together. And again, yeah, same animation. So that's it. Now I hope you saw how powerful the text animator tool can be. If you found this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like it and subscribe. Also, please don't forget to comment below if you have any questions. I would be happy to help you. So happy animating and see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.